Hey, this is Henry Sanders back with another episode of Real Talk. We want to thank our sponsors at Park Bank. Thank you for everything that you're doing for us. We thank you. We love your support. Thank you for Facebook Journalism Project for supporting us, especially at this time with COVID-19 going on. We totally appreciate your support. If you want more of this content, please go to our YouTube page and check that out. Also, you can go to our to listen to our podcast. Make sure you go check that out. Also, lots of wonderful content we've had over the past couple of months. So please check it out. So today, for all you people who think there's no black folks in Cottage Grove, and I know there's a lot of y'all think there's no black folks in Cottage Grove. I know it. Look, I know what y'all thinking. But look, we now have a principal who is black in Cottage Grove. It's true. It's true. Danyelle, will you tell them what you doing in Cottage Grove? Please tell us. These people are looking at me like I'm crazy. They don't believe me right now. Tell them what you're doing. I ain't gonna say nothing. Tell them.
Oh, Henry. Hey, everybody. My name is Danyelle Wright, and I am the new principal at Cottage Grove School.
Let that sink in. For all y'all who change it right now, talking about Black Lives Matter, all that stuff, and they're nervous, whatever. Yes, black people are making moves. We are making moves. And listen, Daniel. So what grade level is that you're at?
So right now, Cottage Grove School has grade levels 2 through 4, and Cottage Grove School is in Monona School District. And so it's really interesting because the school district in itself historically has been 2 cities that are combined together. So we have Monona and we have Cottage Grove. And so combined, they make Monona Grove School District. And so the school that I am so honored to be lead is Cottage Grove School. And this year, their principal is Reed Foster, who is amazing. And so Reed will have an opportunity to open up a new school because they're growing. The district is growing. As you can imagine, Dane County is growing, right? Like it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And so Dane County itself continues to grow. So of course, Cottage Grove School is going to grow. And so because of the capacity for Monona School Grove District, now they're separating that school. So Reed will have 3 to 5, or 3rd grade to 5th grade. And I will have 1 to 2 or 1st grade to 2nd grade. And so this next year will be a planning year. And so I'll be able to be in the building, in the spaces, and learn the students, learn the teachers. I just want to learn everything, to be honest with you. The community itself seems amazing. And so next year will be a learning year. And then the year after, Cottage Grove School will be 1st to 2nd grade. And then we just take off running.
Okay, I got so many questions. Like, okay. Now, I know you went to one high school in Madison. So I went to East, right? So I'm always having a hard time for me to talk to people who go to school. So, I mean, I get it. You went to Laugh a Lot, and that's cool. I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, that's good. I mean, yeah. I mean,
it's the best school on the East Side.
East is clearly the best. But okay, no reason. You know,
answer for life.
Right, all these people always just hating on East. I don't understand it. So you graduated from East High School. I'm sorry, La Follette High School. See, you see. So you graduated from La Follette High School, and then what?
I went back to Illinois and got my bachelor's from Rockford College, which is now Rockford University. At that time, I decided to be a Phi Ed teacher. So I majored in physical education and I minored in adaptive PE. And I had the opportunity to work in Illinois for a little bit. It was just a really awesome experience. I worked in a private school and taught Phi Ed. And so after that, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that like education in itself, in the field I was in, I felt like I could do more. And so I started looking into other things that I could do. And so I applied to different universities in Illinois. I thought I wanted to be like a counselor. Definitely not for me. I really love to be more engaged in the classroom and with students. And so then I thought, how about special ed? little more about me, myself. I grew up in a family of four. My mom and dad did everything they could to just make sure, just, everyone does that. Do whatever you need to do for your kids, make sure their lives are better opportunities. And so we moved from the inner city of Chicago to the south suburbs, to which at that time we were the only Black family living in the south suburbs in this particular suburb. And so that's where I experienced a lot of just diversity in itself. I'm coming from the inner city, everyone looks just like me. And then I'm in a suburb, and I'm like, what is going on? No one looks like me. And I learned a lot just about learning from different people. And eventually it became very diverse and very mixed, but initially it was not like that. And so I have a brother who just really struggled with school, and the typical story that you hear today, right, for little Black boys in public ed. And so it was a lot of bullying, a lot of stuff that was going on. And that's how I got into special ed, just seeing the services that he was getting and not getting and what he needed. And so I decided to go into special ed. And I applied to UW-Madison. My parents still resided here in Madison after I moved back to Illinois. And so I applied at UW, and then I applied at Edgewood College. And I got into both. And so I decided to try UW, but at that time I had a little tiny human being that I was trying to raise. And it just wasn't working, like the flexibility wasn't working for me. So I went to Edgewood. And that's where I finished my master's at Edgewood in special ed. And I specialized in EBD, which is emotional behavior disability at that time. Now that label is ED, emotional disability. And I got into the classroom, and I was super excited working with kids that were just like-minded, just brilliant, but just needed someone who looked like them, but also to push them. And so in that space, I learned a lot about systems, learned a lot about schools, learned a lot about what I believed in and my morals. And then from that, I was like, there's a lot of holes in these systems. And it had me thinking more and more how I can bring the skills I have to the table to further meet the needs of these learners. And so I applied at UW-Madison again. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get into this doctoral program. Here I am, 25 years old, wet behind the ears, I'm just gonna go for it. And I got in, and I was shocked. And so the following year, I got accepted into UW-Madison in their Ed Leadership Policy Analysis, or ALPA. Into which I really, really dug deeper in this equity work. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm finishing up, and it's been a long journey, but yeah, that's kind of my educational background and my why, so why I'm here and why I'm so passionate. And I'm just really, really blessed to be able to lead Cottage Grove schools.
So that's an interesting story, because when you moved to Chicago to the suburbs, you're around more white people, which is sort of preparing you for your job now, ironically, right? So now you're in this job where, what's the population of Cottage Grove for Black folks? Do you know? It has to be small, 2% maybe?
I don't know about the direct population. I know that racial-wise, it's not very much, but as far as diversity, there is a lot of diversity in Cottage Grove. I know right now for the school district in itself, that 70% of the students in Monona Grove School District come from Cottage Grove. And Cottage Grove is really expanding. And so within that, Monona, even though it's this little strip, it's inside of Madison. So there is just a lot of diversity that comes from it. So Cottage Grove has the similar type of demographic that we see in other small suburban areas like Sun Prairie and parts of Madison, of course, too, because it's all similar. And the same challenges as well. It's not that different.
What are the challenges in Cottage Grove? Because obviously everyone talks about Madison and all of our achievement gaps and all that stuff. Are you worried about those type of challenges in Cottage Grove? Do you think or is it different for you?
I'm actually really excited about that. From what I've learned is that Cottage Grove School in itself is very diverse, but the district in itself, actually, this is the first time I felt really heard in a district, right? Because they have said from the beginning, this is the things that we are working on, and this is what we're trying to lift. And they're very bold about their equity vision and statements and what they're going to do. And so they're working on these things. This is like not groundbreaking. This is not something that is going to take a lot of effort as far as like creating. They already have the framework, they already have the foundation. And so I feel very confident coming into those spaces to lift that work. It's similar to Madison. Madison made a very bold statement about Black excellence. That's not something that was new. They were doing that work. They were just speaking on it. And that's something that I actually respect. And so coming into Cottage Grove or coming into Monona, they've laid out exactly what they're going to do. They laid out what they need. They laid out what they believe in. I mean, it's right there on their website. It's clear as day. This is what they believe in, and this is what we're going to do to make sure that we have equity for all kids. And that is just so exciting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're clearly passionate about what you're doing. That shines right through all the even this camera. Are you concerned about being you have to be the first Black woman out there, principal out there? You know, is there pressure? Do you feel pressure by doing that? Like, what does that feel like for someone like me? I've been the first for a lot of Black and a lot of jobs I've had, and I can tell you that it's not easy. So how do you feel about it? How do you feel about? Do you feel the weight of it, or is it just like, oh, hey, I got this, or like, where you at with it?
A combination, to be honest with you. I didn't realize I was the first Black female principal until recently. So for me, I'm actually really excited about that because now I'm just, setting a pace for other women to come behind me. Like, this is the end all, right? This is not just the first and the last. This is the start of empowering everybody to come together collectively. And so, yeah, I'm honored. And at the same time, I'm excited because I know that with my network that I have learned and gained and trusted people in this community, that we are going to together make it very great. And also Black leaders that are coming in, the door is wide open. Monona in itself, they want that. They want diversity. They want strong leaders, especially leaders of color. And so, yeah, I'm honored to be the first, but I know I'm not the last, which is even more exciting.
Yeah, I love your energy and passion for this. It's awesome. So what would you tell the young people right now, which I think is important, who see you in this position and say, you know what, I want to help, I want to serve, I want to teach, but I don't know if I can do it, or it's super difficult. What advice would you give someone who's looking at it right now, seeing you, and like, I want to do what she's doing, but can I do it? What advice would you give to somebody young watching you right now, seeing you as a role model?
To be honest, you guys see the end, right, of my story. I've failed way more than being successful. And so when you do fail, don't look at it like, oh my gosh, I failed, I can't do it. It really takes time for you to condition your mind to pursue bigger things. I'm a very religious person, so I lean into that. And so I am super spiritual, I meditate, I make sure that I just cleanse my mind. And even when obstacles come at me, it's like, I realize that is real. But at the same time, I know who I am and what God called for me. And so I just push through that. Like, hey, this is real. I failed at that. That was terrible. That sucked. That did not feel good. However, I've learned from that. So how can I build upon what I really want and build those things I've learned? Every situation in life, rather you have success or failures, you have to learn from it. And so for me, everyone sees the end of all of this, but the journey has been messy. I mean, from just learning how I am as a woman, as a Black woman, as a Black educator, as a Black woman educator. I mean, like, there's so many levels of things each year that I just gain knowledge of. I don't think I'm done learning either. I'm not at the end of my career or the end of me evolving. It takes time. And so just be patient with yourself. Understand that failures are going to come with success. And when you have success, praise it, because it's going to be more times that you fail than you succeed. And so in those moments, just acknowledge it, speak on it, and praise yourself for that, because that's huge. And then know that soon you probably have another failure, but learn from that.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. So before we go, COVID-19 is happening, and what do you think that's going to impact the schools? Like, are you preparing for COVID-19? Are you preparing for the fall? Like, where are you guys at with that?
Yeah, we're having conversations. So we are definitely following Dane County as far as the health guidelines. We are having conversations collectively as a district already. They brought me into those conversations. Even though I don't start officially till July 1st, I feel honored to be able to be in those spaces to co-plan. And so, yeah, there's blended models are going through. The superintendents are doing a very good job with communicating to each other to make sure that there's cohesion. Because as you're aware, there's different counties that have different regulations that have different things going on. So we're trying our best to make sure that things are equitable throughout Wisconsin, which I really admire. And so right now, there is no clear cuts and dries like solution or even just route that we're going to go. As we get more information from Dane County and learn, we'll continue to plan. So right now we have like 12 different plans, and we're trying to figure out what is best for our families, for our students, of course, for our teachers, and to make sure everyone's safe. Like, that is a priority. So whatever plan rolls out, that is where we're coming from when we're looking at things, to make sure that our students, our staff, and our families are safe.
Well, we wish you the best out there in Cottage Grove. We're probably, I don't know people in Cottage Grove, but whoever decided to hire her, thank you. Sometimes we talk about diversity and inclusion, but we don't actually put action behind it. Clearly you did this, and so thank you. And Danyelle, we're all watching you now. Like, we all keep an eye on you to, represent and hold us down and help all those babies out there get the education they deserve. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I love that. I love everything. I love your energy. I love that you're a woman of faith. Keep doing all the good stuff you're doing. And if we can support you, we will support you anywhere we can. And no, for a matter of fact, when you start school, you should make sure we do a story about what's going on out there. We would love to write and let people know that all the wonderful stuff that Cottage Grove is doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you for joining us for another episode of Real Talk, and we will see you next time.
All right. Take care.